listening to Force Majeure, an actual play Star Wars podcast. My name is Adam and I'm your host, and today's episode will be brought to you after these words from our sponsors.
Snyder's Return is a tabletop roleplay interview and actual play podcast. We chat with content creators from both mainstream and indie publishers, and we release actual play episodes of systems like our City of Mist game, Meddlers, Monsters and Madmen, and more games coming in the future. We also have a TTRPG review show on YouTube, Fly Like a D6. Come and check us out. You can find us on Twitter at Return Snyder, Instagram Snyders_return. You can find us on YouTube at Snyder's Return, Discord, and everywhere you get your podcasts.
Hello, my name is Ed Fortune, and here is a brief rundown of the second series of Force Majeure Shadows of the Jedi. We're going to go in chronological order here. Even though the show began in the thick of the action and flashed back, it's probably going to be easier if we go the other way. So we open on the ruin world of Kinabal, Kimbalae, Sinbalae, depending on who you are, depends on how you say it, during that world's version of Life Day, which is called Calibration, a holiday that lasts a few days as folk reset clocks and calculate the wobbly orbit of the poor ruined world as they watch a thing called the Aurora Kinabalis. Tychus is celebrating both his birthday and the opening of his repair shop with his boyfriend Carween, and the rest of the crew at the Fire Oval, who are doing their best to be good at parties. They're all a little bit socially awkward. Tychus distributes gifts. The dog finds a new friend in the droid TBC, and Kay gets a new fight suit. Kay awkwardly gives each of the crew a badge made out of a bit of the ship itself, and Roy handles out not only calibration candies, but also a lovely drawing of everyone that he's made himself. Roy uploads a language upgrade, which is a gift from Tychus's parents, and shuts down as the party goes onto the roof to watch the fireworks. When they come back, Roy is gone, kidnapped by one of the swoop gangs known as the Makers. Kay, the dog, and Tychus jump into the Fire Oval, not only to rescue their friend, but also to rescue a bunch of kidnapped droids. Careful aim, high firepower, and a little bit of luck, the trusty crew gets a trial by fire in their new ship, as it's not really flown in atmosphere, it's not really flown at all, really. Crazy flying from Kay, bold athletics from Tychus, and some expert negotiation from the doc allows them to rescue Roy, and they acquire a cheeky young straggler in the form of a Chadrafan Ganger. Turns out those folk who stole all those droids were pretty young. This was their first and also their last heist, as things did not go well for the hapless gang. All these antics find the party in the newly uncovered Lost City, which was the end of season 1, if you remember, when the Imperials bombed that particular area, uncovering an ancient and rather creepy looking city. This ancient ruin made of black glass skyscrapers is quite the hazard, and the party almost plummets to their doom multiple times. Using an ancient artifact from the Old Republic, the party navigate the dangerous creature-infested area. The party discovers an ominous black glass temple with an architectural design that can be best described as early Maniac, and Titus considers it to be obviously evil. The thing that the party realises, well, it's an ancient temple. It's probably going to be not good news, especially on Kinabal. This is in fact a temple of a Jedi splinter cult called the Ordu Aspectu. It is the site of an ancient massacre between the Aspectu and some other Jedi that they later identify. The symbols on the wall of the temple match with symbols and designs from the Imperial Doom machine they previously encountered. So the party reluctantly moves into the temple, which is a monument to one man, Ra, filled with ancient statues of an idealized versions of alien heroes. The party interrogate a holocron and learn that the cult aimed to become immortal, seemingly through any means necessary, seeking to duplicate the powers of the long-forgotten force cult known as the Bendai, that wildly misunderstood bunch of individuals. The party realise that Braca has one of these statues, and that the Hutt is probably crazy enough to try and do something horrible and unwise with it. Quickly dealing with the temple's spooky porcelain god droids, The party begins to loot the library for artifacts. Tychus hacks the ancient security system and discovers that this is an eternal temple, only accessible during calibration, setting a clock on their looting. Interrogating the weird droid, they discover that it's less programmed and more possessed by some sort of force sorcery long forgotten to the modern age. As they explore the library and its study rooms, they discover what can only be described as furniture designed for sacrificial rites and also a dead body. The tragedy of the Aspecto cult is revealed, one of a failed quest for immortality. The journey cut short by the Jedi. Creeped out and convinced that this area holds no secrets they want, the crew abandon the exploration of the study rooms and turn their attention to a thing that the map identifies as a cloning chamber. Cunning intelligence gets the team into the chamber, and Roy's enthusiasm manages to activate the ancient mechanisms within. Clones of Rur are released from the cloning pods and attack Tychus and chums, whilst the other pod hums with power. The party deals with the clones as ancient mechanisms shudder. One more clone is expected to arrive. Tychus hacks the ancient systems, looking for a way to destroy the temple as Roy sings happy birthday to the final clone emerging from its pod. Thanks to a spot of cunning from Tychus, and also luck and maybe the Force, this clone is not hostile, but he is very confused. This basilisk clone briefly mistakes Tychus for another long-dead Jedi Master, and names itself Krell Rur, the resurrected form of a long-dead being who joined the cult in order to end it, perhaps working for a secret Jedi police known as the Shadows. It can't remember, only that it did whatever it did for the love of someone it has forgotten the face of. Alas, Krell Rur's body is weak, and he has mere hours to live, with scant holes in its memory. Krell Rur reveals that the Ascension Chamber would allow one to become the soul of an entire world, but that's the wisdom of doing so, and is alarmed to learn that a Hutt crime lord has access to one of the components required for such a thing. Corwin then contacts Tychus to warn him that both Bracca's men and the Imperial Stormtroopers are on their way. As Tychus checks his notes, and also his pad, which is used to hack into the ancient security systems, he realises that the imps are landing on the roof as they speak, and they start fighting their way down to the library. Teaming up with Krell Rur, the crew head towards the Ascension Chamber in order to blow it up, and the entire temple with it, in order to deny this dark place to evil beings. As they open the complicated door to the Ascension Chamber, they see the desiccated body of a Rur clone in a scary looking chair, lots of carefully hidden complicated wiring and a huge power source. As the party examine the corpse, dark side ghosts manifest. Kay wields his cursed lightsaber with skill and aplomb, and the party does as much damage as they can in their usual style, banishing the creatures for now. As the party destroy the chair, golden light floods the chamber, and Krell Rur and Kay vanish, replaced by a golden tear in reality. Kay finds himself in a golden lit pseudo world with infinite paths to infinite lives in front of him. It is a miracle of the Force, and Kay agrees to a bargain with an unseen being in order to understand how to navigate this place for now, and returns to reality via a golden gate. Stormtroopers, as well as ISB agent Volt and a mysterious mask-wearing Dark Jedi, we assume, storm the chamber. Tychus triggers demo charges, which he cunningly placed in advance, taking out many of the stormtroopers and denying the enemy Force user access to the chamber. Volt tries to arrest Tychus, so Tychus shoots him in the face. The party makes short work of the Imperial troops, throwing them off the platform. Volt's body is not found, however. Tychus, Roy, Kay and the dog jump through the portal as the chamber explodes. They find themselves in a place called the Bridge of Souls, a place that they should not be in. It feels profane to be there for the party. They see vision after vision of paths they have not walked, future or past that could never have been and may never be. As they navigate their own fanfiction, Roy himself is overwhelmed with signals of other B-1 battle droids and starts to shut down. Tychus carries his brother through the strange, other, heaven-like world. Kay guides them to the closest time and place he can, just outside the ancient temple, where a battle between Braca the Hutt's gang and Imperial forces rages as they fight over the temple, which is now on fire. They also manifest right next to Kareen, much to Kareen's surprise. As the portal closes, the team scramble for cover. Roy comes back online, though now he has memories of many other B1 battle droids stored in his databanks, an anomaly from the trip through to the Bridge of Souls. Armed with the temporary precognition granted by their journey, the party makes their way through a battlefield towards a quadhopper. That's the boxy shape in Force Awakens, in case you don't know what the quadhopper looks like. The party see familiar faces in the fight, including Braca's seneschal, Velo Kane, who was murdered by the as yet unnamed Dark Jedi, who Roy has decided to call General Kenobi for some reason. As the villain notices the party, the Doc dives into the quad jumper and starts the engine. The party piles in, the Dark Jedi almost breaks the ship with his use of the Force, and with some supreme piloting skill, the party escapes the battlefield. The entire party, by the way, are identifying that Dark Jedi as General Kenobi. I mean, Roy's the expert, why wouldn't you? Flying away from the battlefield and the burning temple, the party find their way to their far superior ship, the Fire Opal, ditching the jumper by landing on a detachment of Imperial scouts who are investigating the Opal, and then dealing with the remaining scouts in short order. After a short dogfight with some ties, the crew flies away from the danger zone, stopping to kick their Chadrafan pest out of the ship. And the party realise that the Imperial presence is getting much bigger, and the party made the decision to infiltrate Braca's palace and destroy his statue. Luckily, they arrive just as the statue is being transported out of the palace, so they blow that up, and then pile back into their ship, hit the accelerator and fly away. As the crew finally leaves the atmosphere, the Imperial Navy arrives to blockade Kinabal. Series 3 begins with the party trying to figure out how to avoid the entire Imperial Navy. I wish them luck, and I'm really looking forward to running this as well. This should be a fab game.
Force Majeure is played using the Star Wars Force and Destiny game system by Edge Studios. Our intro music is by the amazing Sly Fox Audio. Check out more of her work at soundcloud.com/SlyFoxAudio. Our outro music is Suburban Outlaw instrumental version by Forget the Whale, used with gratitude under a Creative Commons license. Many of the sound effects and soundscapes are created using Sirenscape, because epic games need epic sounds. If you're enjoying the show and want to support us, there's 3 ways you can do that. The first is by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/ForceMajeurePod, where for as little as $1 a month you get access to outtakes, adverts, various other stuff, and my fortnightly ramblings. You can drop us a coffee at ko-fi.com/ForceMajeurePod, or you can leave us a rating and review wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to interact with us, there's a few ways you can do that. We are on the social medias, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter as @ForceMajeurePod, and we're over on Mastodon as @ForceMajeurePod at dice.can. You can also join our Discord, link in the show notes. Thank you very much for listening and being with us as we tell these stories. We hope you are having fun, and we will see you next time.